Personnel Finance Committee meeting to order. If there are no changes, I need a motion and support to approve the agenda.
So moved.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? None. Moving forward, we have public comment. Public? We have no public comment. We have no public. Moving down to committee items. Item A, need approval of the minutes if there are no changes.
Move to approve.
Have a motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Next up, item B, finance statements. Jim is not here.
Jim is out sick or wife.
Yes, he had a personal family emergency this morning that he couldn't make it.
Okay.
Apologize for.
Yeah. If you have questions, we can ask Jim when he returns.
Well, you can ask us now.
Any questions that you may have? If not, well, go ahead.
Well, we do have.
Commissioner Rice. Pardon me? This is just a report.
Okay.
Okay. Item C would be finance capital improvement budget or plan budget carryover. This will be monies that were approved last year and the projects haven't been started or haven't been completed yet. We need to carry the funding forward to this year's budget.
So moved.
Motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? None. Thank you. Item D, we have purchase of our software by BS&A. We had the presentation Friday at study session. Any questions, concerns? I have one. Go ahead. We have motion and support. Okay. I had an email from Commissioner Alexander wondering who does the installation of the program, and is that included within the charge that we're paying for the system?
It is
So yes, it is included, and I believe it has been answered. Did you want to respond to that at all, Julie?
No, but I thank Adam and Jim for getting with me. Friday morning, one of the individuals that listened to the study session contacted me later in that day. They have a very negative experience with the data conversion component of the software with a large local company, and they were very much concerned the time frame, it being subcontracted out, additional costs, and we were I'll find it here as we're speaking. That information came back from Jim and stating that, I'm sorry, it's not, that 100% of it will be done by this company. Nothing is subcontracted out, that all of the concerns were addressed. So thank you for asking.
Thank you for giving us a heads up on that. Okay, we have motion and support. All in favor of sending this forward to the full board? Aye. Those opposed? None. Thank you. Move on to item E, JDOT Township Match Policy. We heard a presentation from the Road Commission Friday. Are there any questions, debate, concerns, motion, support?
Move to approve the match policy.
Thank you. We have motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying,
Question?
oh, I didn't see you. Go ahead.
I think Julie had her hand up too. I did have a concern with one of the sections in it. I'm still not hooked up yet, but my recollection is that it was related to bridge work. And I had the opportunity to talk to Jerry for just a minute this morning before Fairs and Agencies. And the way it's worded, maybe somebody else has it, but no, it's right here. It almost reads as if there's any bridge repairs or improvements that are done in a specific municipality, that the municipality has to participate to a certain extent. And I'm a little uncomfortable with that. If, for instance, a bridge is defective for some reason, county road decides to go in and repair it, then we're going to mandate that the locals participate to some extent. So that we kind of had this conversation on Friday, and this whole policy revolves around it being a voluntary thing when local government wants improvements done. But I see this as a little different, and that's a little concerning to me.
It's only local bridges, so county would fix them.
So that's my one concern, and I think Julie had a comment also.
Commissioner Alexander.
If I'm,
Go ahead.
I can say, I have it right here in front of me in regard to that, if I could read that for you. It says, bridge replacement includes repair or replacement of any structurally deficient bridge. Then it goes on to say, bridge replacements are funded partially through federal and state bridge program, with remainder being paid by the Department of Transportation. Local bridges may require the township to participate at a cost share of 50% if other revenue sources are not available. So that's strictly for local bridges, and it's not an absolute, it's a may require up to 50%.
All right,
I assume that's what you're talking about, right?
Commissioner Leitner.
I'm just curious about the wording for this. Does this include villages as well? Because we have, well, I have Parma Village, and they have bridges within their area, and are they affected by this as well?
County truck hits it. I think
Yeah,
that
the wording for townships and/or, I think we discussed this at the study session, Julie had mentioned, and owners of the property, but I think that villages also should be included in this, not just the township. I mean,
Drawing from past experience, the village of Brooklyn maintained their own streets. And they had to repair a bridge that was damaged. And it was damaged not once but twice. Second time, our insurance took care of it because it was kind of a conclusion that our county truck might have hit it. But they do maintain all of their own streets, so I'm thinking the bridges too.
If I may, or?
Go ahead.
Yo,
Commissioner
Is it-
Lutschka. Go ahead, Dave.
The road funds are divided between cities, villages, and counties. Townships don't get any. So the cities are responsible for their streets and bridges from the money that they get. The county's responsible from the bridges in the county roads, and in city, the city's responsible for all their stuff. So in that case, the city would be doing the road. In this particular case, the county does it, except we're ready, making a policy that allows or asks them to contribute to the repair too. So it's the jurisdictions, and Act 51, the Highway Distribution Act, is what governs that.
Administrator Overton. Okay. Any further questions or discussion? Commissioner Elwell.
Well, again, just to take off from the conversation this morning with Jerry, I mean, I'm okay voting to send this to the board if we need to, but I think, if I was understanding Jerry right this morning, he is okay going through it and rewording the policy maybe to address some of these concerns, because nothing has been changed in here from Friday till now, correct? Yeah. And I think the reality is that even if we pass this on, if Jerry can work with the administration, continue to look at it to improve some of the concerns, we could have a standing committee meeting at the board meeting on Tuesday if there's something new that comes back.
Shall we have, ask Jerry to attend the board meeting
I
next
kind of thought he'd be
Tuesday?
here today for this, but to be
Answer
honest with you.
questions?
Mike, have you talked with Jerry at all about improving? I'm just concerned about the perception of what we so dislike, which is the state pushing things down onto us to pay for and to have us turn around and push it onto townships. And I'm not saying this does that, but it's the perception of that, and I just am hopeful to make it absolutely clear that that's not what's happening, but I just don't know that this is the best wording that we could have come up with throughout the document. And again, just on the conversation this morning, I think Jerry's okay and probably would rather go through the thing and have another look at it, but we have another week to do that yet. So whether we pass it on as is, or if we just leave it and plan on having a standing committee meeting with a, fresh set of eyes having gone over it again, might be the better thing. I don't know.
Go ahead.
I have no problem making changes, adjustments, or whatever the board would require. My only concern is, I'm not clear on what it is exactly we need to change, and so if I make a change, we can have a standing committee, but it still may not be what it needs to be. So perhaps, we need to talk more about it so that we can get her done, get some direction, more direction from me today, so that when it comes Tuesday, it's good to go.
Is this time sensitive?
Yes,
Okay.
because a number of townships are basically, they're really eager to get going. They want to, put it in, make their budget adjustments and move forward.
What's the board's desire here? Oh, Commissioner Alexander.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, we're questioning why Jerry isn't here. When we read his memo, Jerry states that he will be presenting this policy to agencies and affairs. So I think he was under the assumption this morning that it was going to be addressed at 8 o'clock. If you notice at this morning's, when he addressed us, he also attempted to bring it up then. I don't believe he was clear on when it would be addressed. He also shared with me, as he did with Commissioner Elwell, that he has not addressed any of those concerns that we brought up on Friday, that he saw several issues as well that needed to be addressed. He'd be happy to work on it and get that back to us. So I believe that's where we stand.
Well,
Because whenever,
Mike, or Mr. Administrator Overton won't know which concerns we have. Specifically, we've talked of a couple, so it'd be hard for him to sit down and go over the thing, I would think. Commissioner Elwell.
Maybe if we just forward it on with the acknowledgement that the administrator and Jerry will continue to tweak it, and I would guess that commissioners could email their concerns to Mike by tomorrow, which would give them time to tweak the document. We can have a standing committee meeting. I mean, if we send it forward and direct that it go to a standing committee meeting of Personnel and Finance Tuesday, that's certainly acceptable, I think. And we could then vote on a new document if there are any significant changes to it.
Well, certainly for the records, there's no intent to dump down on the townships and villages here. As it was explained to us Friday, it is actually, could be taken a 30% cost off from the locals. And I do think, if I remember, we had a bridge out on Folks Road or somewhere out around Hanover that was being repaired, and the federal funding, I think, did kick in on that. The federal bridge and federal bridge funding.
I don't remember exactly.
I know what you said, but I think that's also part of it. So do you want to give me a motion here to what we wish to do?
It's on the floor already, is there not?
Well, do
Yeah.
we wish to change our motion? To
To in-
pass it contingent upon?
To include a standing committee meeting at the Board of Commissioners meeting to finalize any final changes?
Okay.
It's fine.
So, Madam Clerk, do you have the motion to read back to us?
I've got to send it to the full board to include an amendment to the agenda for a standing committee at the full board
Clarification.
meeting.
For clarification, any questions? Okay, we have the motion. We're going to have a standing committee meeting if necessary to answer questions and concerns. Yeah, standing committee meeting of Personnel and Finance. Okay, then we'll proceed to vote. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? None. Passes unanimously. Thanks for the discussion. Yes, sir.
If I may, just for clarification, everyone is going to, if you have a concern or something, just send me an email. That would be very helpful, because I think I'm hearing from Commissioner Elwell that the perception is more the concern there than the reality of it.
That's accurate, and maybe just one sentence to make that clearer.
Exactly, yes.
But there are other issues that Sarah and Julie have raised just on simple
Oh, we
words, I
addressed
think.
those. No, okay. All right, good deal. Thanks.
Thank you, Board. Next up, we have item F. This would be approval of a new vehicle for Meals on Wheels. Mr. Shealy has requested this. Welcome, Rick.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Have before you a request to purchase a new Meals on Wheel van, something we certainly need, and I hope, Commissioner Elwell, I answered your questions to your satisfaction.
You did, but I have another question.
Okay?
Rick, what? Then I'll support it.
Motion and support. Go ahead, Commissioner Helwell.
Rick, why, we know pretty much what they cost a year ahead of time. This one's, what, 23,000, right? But we only budget 19. Why is that? And I think it's the same with the other vehicle we're going to look at.
Oh, well, actually, the prices do go up per the manufacturer's changes with my deal. In their contract, they can do that. So because we set our budget so early, it's hard to anticipate how much the increase is going to be, and that's why we're stuck there. That was something Deputy Controller and I have discussed.
Commissioner Rice.
Hey, Rick.
Sir?
This might have been Commissioner Elwell's question, maybe not. This says there was significant damage to the vehicle. Did that cause the vehicle to be taken out of service?
It was mostly the fact that the transmission has started going bad as well. So it's really a combination of issues here. With our insurance, we have a $1,000 deductible. So you add that $1,000 onto the $2,300 and then another $1,400 or so for a new transmission on top of that, and we've really exceeded our value on that vehicle.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
One question, Rick. Was this a collision?
It was a situation where the vehicle was delivering meals in a subdivision and someone backed out of their driveway and hit the vehicle.
Okay, I know under insurance procedures, if it happened to one of my vehicle, I'm entitled to receive a mini tort back. Are we entitled to that? Are we going after that?
HR handles all of the accidents along those lines. I can certainly inquire on that and find out.
I think that would give us a $500 damage claim.
Right. It's some,
I asked Joni about that this morning, and she said the only way we could get an insurance reimbursement is if we have it repaired. What she explained to me, and I don't know the question.
Well, they basically it's totaled, but still the mini tort, I think we're supposed to...
Because of the accident, it's not considered total. We want to replace it because of the transmission.
in the,
Okay.
right. Mr. Chair, it's something I can certainly look into, and if it's applicable, we'll go after that mini tort.
Yeah, it's usually just like there for the asking, but you have to ask.
Right.
Thank you. Any more questions for facilities? Okay, we have a motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? None. Item G, we have a request from facilities again for a new vehicle for intensive supervised probation, a vehicle there. Any questions? Motion? Support. Commissioner Rice.
I have a question in regards to the last one we just dealt with Department of Aging. It talked about $19,000 in the improvement fund. Then it talked about the rest would be paid, they specifically stated where the rest of the money would come from. On other occasions, through the district court, it is stated that the rest would be paid, but it would not, it never clarified from where the money came from. Do you have any idea where the other money's coming from?
I don't. I'm sorry, Commissioner. But they've always paid it. I'm just not sure what fund it comes out of until the invoice is processed. But I could certainly find out and let you know.
You.
I wouldn't mind, like I said, the Department of Aging stated, and other people have stated where their extra money's coming from. I'd wonder where the district court's getting their money to pay the rest of it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question, Rick. I see the vehicle is built to patrol car specifications. Is that necessary for this type of vehicle? I assume that it's heavier duty, I'm sure, but does that warrant a cost differential between just a standard vehicle?
I really believe that it is. And it's the fact that this vehicle's going throughout the county, traveling dirt roads. Actually, our roads right now are significantly riddled with potholes. And really, this is the same platform that taxis are built off from as well.
Okay.
So I really believe it adds extra value.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, board, are we ready to take action? Anybody have any questions? Carl does. Okay, we have motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, none. Passes unanimously. We move down to item H now. This is battery backup for the new SAN system for the IT department. Any questions or concerns? Welcome.
Welcome.
Anything more to say?
It should have been included in the original SAN quote, since it certainly is related, but we worked out with facilities, the lines will be ran as they should be, and it's necessary in order to continue with the SAN project.
I would have thought it would have came with the original purchase of the system.
It should have, yes.
What do you mean it should have?
It should have. The vendor did not explain our power requirements, and we didn't do our due diligence to find out that it was something that we needed to begin with.
They're not willing to include it?
They are not, no.
Okay. Commissioner Elwell.
Aaron, I had sent an email to Mike and Adam real late, like an hour before the meeting started, but is this something we check with My Deal or State Purchase on to see if it's available cheaper through them?
I actually called them right before I came down. They do not sell this product on My Deal.
Any other questions, concerns? I know, probably late in the game here now, but I had a camera battery. I went to a local outlet, a name brand chain. They wanted $59 for the battery, and I paid $7 for it on eBay. Same codes. It was the exact same battery. I don't know what these are, but just, I guess, for future reference.
They're pretty big. They go in a rack.
eBay sells a lot.
Yeah. But I will say that the vendor that we bought the sand from, of course, immediately provided us with a quote for the product, and they wanted $15,000 for these battery backups. So when I did my 3 quotes, we came down with Dell Direct at a little over 12.
Thank you. We ready for action, board?
Move to support.
We have motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. We didn't have support? Somebody said support. Carl moved it. We need support. Thank you, board. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Those opposed, passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to item 5, other business. Has everybody signed the claims? Need support? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? None opposed, unanimous. Other minutes, we don't seem to have any. March reporting schedule, I don't see we have anything there either. We return to public comment. Any public comment? We have no comment. Committee member comment. Meeting adjourned. 12.